So many great Switch games, so little money. We need them all, but how? Well, thanks to our sponsor App Bounty, of course, who is helping us finance our big and expensive productions. You see, there is a way to earn gift cards to iTunes or even better, Amazon, and use it to buy awesome Nintendo products. On top of that, you can get Nintendo eShop gift cards. Sounds sweet? It does. And the best part is, App Bounty pays you for downloading and using different apps to earn credits. In their Play and Earn section, you can easily download apps and complete missions to earn money. The more you use the apps, the more points you collect. By dedicating a few minutes, you can earn $5 to $10 daily. This is an annual Nintendo Switch Online membership earned in just a few days. Or switch games from this list in, say, 10 days' time, or Nintendo Switch accessories if you prefer. Click the link in the description to download App Bounty, use the code Commonwealth Realm, and start earning new Nintendo products today.
Oh my Miyamoto, if there's one thing the Nintendo Switch has, then it is a very rich library of platforming games. So much so that we had to compile a list of our favorites to show the great quality and variety found on the system.
So make sure to get your platforming shoes ready as we get this party started with... 2018 was a great year for indie platformers. It began incredibly strong with Celeste, was then followed up with an amazing Ninja Gaiden-like The Messenger, and ended equally as good with Grist. In the end, Grist narrowly knocked out The Messenger for a spot on this list, as Grist, which is also published by Devolver Digital, is a true artistic and emotional experience. Grist may look boring on the surface with little to no danger, frustration, or death. Sure, this would normally be game-breaking, but Grist, similarly to games like Journey, is a different interactive experience that puts emphasis on puzzles, platforming, and optional challenges for those of us who desire to get more out of this game.
In many ways, you could say that this game is about evoking certain feelings within through the power of music and a striking art style with calm animation that truly express the sorrow that is overarching theme of the plot in the game. Throughout this journey, Grist, the protagonist of the game, gains new abilities that help her navigate through old and new struggles. Struggles that many of us have faced through their lives. This was insane in 2018, or should we say N-sane, and is just as insane today. The original trilogy of PlayStation's Poster Boy and the beginning of Nintendo's greatest nightmare,
hey plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived,
made their way to their rival system. Now it is obviously tied to the fact that Crash Bandicoot is no longer owned by Sony and Naughty Dog, but by Activision.
With that said, bringing the trilogy to the Switch marked for history in the making, as with it, we have all of the big platforming icons on the system. Mario, Sonic, Mega Man, Crash, and Rayman. Everyone is here. The only one left missing is Spyro and his reignited trilogy, which is probably only a matter of time away from the Switch, seeing that Activision knows that this system prints the money. But back to the Crash trilogy on the Nintendo Switch, as these three games are no lazy remasters, but rather actual full-on remakes from the PS1 classics from the second half of the 90s. Yes, this game series may not be on the exact same level of quality as 3D Mario when it comes to tight gameplay or level design, and even differ drastically amongst each other. Still, for currently $30 on Amazon, this trilogy is a steal, and a really awesome deal for one of gaming's big, but at the same time neglected, platforming icons. Now we just need a real sequel from Activision that will surpass Naughty Dog's great breakthrough in the video game industry.
Being a spiritual successor of the Wonder Boy series on the Sega Master and Genesis systems, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom had a lot to live up to, seeing that the game was crowdfunded through Kickstarter and was co-developed with Wonder Boy's creator, Ryuichi Nishizawa.
Monster Boy is your typical side-scroller platformer where you step into the shoes of a male protagonist. In this case, Jin, whose main aim is to prevent his uncle from spreading chaos across the kingdom the game is set in. We all have that crazy uncle that wishes to bring chaos to our daily lives. The main gameplay objectives, just like in most other platformers, is to battle enemies and bosses, but also solve puzzles and use different animal transformations in order to progress. Overall, the combination of a great art style, gameplay, and the transformation mechanics makes Monster Boy and its quality gameplay stand out on this list. And it is a true shame that the title is so underrated on the Switch. That is why we dedicated a little more space for it than some of the other titles on this list. Our advice is simple: if you have the time, then play this game.
It's so crazy to think that we didn't have a main entry in the Mega Man series since 2011, before Mega Man 11. That's 7 years for crying out loud, back when I was still in high school. Alas, the wait for a new Mega Man title was still worth it, though not as much as everyone hoped. Hence why Mega Man 11 is only number 7 on this list. While the last two games had us revisiting the NES era with a perfect 8-bit art style, 11 freshened things up with a new coat of cel-shaded art style and some new powers, including the double gear system. This ability drastically increased Mega Man's speed and power, handy for dealing with sticky situations, and this being a true Mega Man game, we face these peculiar situations quite often. Seriously, Mega Man is the opposite of a cakewalk, but a solid game nonetheless. And since it only cost $30 when released, and even cheaper at times, this adds a few points in its favor and secures the 7th place on this list.
Everyone loves Shovel Knight. If you don't, you probably have no soul. Shovel Knight combines the best of 8-bit and 16-bit classics like Castlevania, DuckTales, and Super Mario Bros. 3 into an experience that is just too good for words. So of course it was perfect for the Switch since A, it doesn't have a virtual console but a very limited paint-only substitute, and B, because it's great to play at home and on the go.
We played it first on the 3DS, but the small screen just didn't do it, and the Wii U isn't really that portable when you think about it.
Treasure Trove was the version released for the Switch, and it came with all the great expansions such as Plague of Shadows and Spectre of Torment. You're basically getting 3 campaigns for the price of 1, along with an additional expansion, The King of Cards, which is on the way and will launch in April. If there's one place to play the nostalgically original Shovel Knight, then it is on the Nintendo Switch.
Take notes, new Super Mario Bros. This is how you reboot a 2D franchise. Even though this was another Wii U port, oh my god was it a necessary one. Rayman Legends Definitive Edition is exactly that, and to experience it at home or on the go with the Nintendo Switch's portability makes this the best possible place to play the game. Sure, you don't have the ability to control Murphy in the middle of a single-player campaign, but it was a necessary sacrifice to make. Rayman Legends is 2D collectathon platforming in its purest form, rife with beautiful hand-drawn animation and amazing music that transports you into Ubisoft's insane and magical world. The game controls like a dream, and makes for some incredibly fun musical segments and high-octane chase scenes. You can either play this game by yourself or with 3 other friends to add to the zaniness. What's cooler is that the game is also chock full of content, including some of the best levels from Rayman Origins. Much like the rest of the entries on this list, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition is a must-have for Nintendo Switch users. Now all we need is the next Rayman game. Come on, Ubisoft, where is it?
Sonic had a rough ride on the Wii U after regaining confidence with the amazing Sonic colors for the Wii. Without need to exaggerate, Sonic Lost Worlds was a disappointment, and Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric was a complete travesty. Luckily, Sonic Mania turned all of this garbage around, well, at least until Sonic Forces ruined it again. Luckily, in 2018, Sega ended the current line of released Sonic titles being terrible with a great expansion to Sonic Mania. So what was the big deal bringing this game all the way to the 4th spot? Simple, it offered a non-convoluted story, the same great level design, physics, bosses, and most importantly speed as found in the Sega Genesis system sellers. However, marking the return to its 2D roots, Sonic Mania Plus did not just port old zones and chapters, but rather remixed and extended them considerably, while also adding brand new zones and a simplistic but still impactful story.
And if the base game wasn't big enough as it is the biggest single 2D Sonic release. Sonic Mania Plus extended the fun with new zones, a new adventure mode through the Encore mode, and Mighty and Ray as new playable characters. But not Amy Rose for some reason. We really hope Christian Whitehead, Pagoda Games, and Sega find together once again to make a proper sequel to this title. But this time with all new zones and stages. Points that kept this game away from the podium. Just like Rareware back in the 90s for Nintendo, Retro has yet to disappoint us when it comes to their productions from the Metroid Prime Trilogy to Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze. Of these three, only the most recent Wii U title is playable on the Nintendo Switch. But what a game this is! We at the Commonwealth Realm love Vikings, and Conrad even has some Viking blood as a Norwegian, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze delivered all what we wanted from the long-gone Norse civilization. Since in Tropical Freeze, Viking snowmats have invaded DK Island, covered it in ice with their massive signal horn, and kicked out the DK clan. That is the premise for what is a tough, but at the same time, entertaining struggle, as Tropical Freeze offers some of the most satisfying and at the same time challenging platforming and boss battles found on the system.
This was also probably the reason why Funky Kong and the meme-worthy Funky mode were added to this excellent remaster, just like Toadette and Nabbit in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, to make it more accessible for those who found the Wii U version too punishing. We will just say that this port is excellent, and with all its addition plus the Switch's portability, DK Country Tropical Freeze truly bring out the best the franchise has to offer, and we can't wait to see a future new DK game on the Nintendo Switch.
Celeste is a truly remarkable experience. Though at first glance it looked like another fun indie platformer with some tight controls, great level design, and sometimes infuriating difficulty akin to Super Meat Boy. To our fortune, it is exactly that, but at the same time, something much, much more. First off, of course the gameplay of Celeste is great. Your aim is simple, but at the same time, a massive challenge. Reach the top of Celeste Mountain by using jumping and dashing powers. Gladly, the game controls like a dream, and every mistake you make actually feels like your fault and not the game's.
That said, beneath the amazing gameplay of Celeste comes a humble yet amazing story that goes deep into issues you normally wouldn't expect in a game like this to bring up. Our protagonist Madeline is a normal person struggling with mental health. She deals with anxiety, depression, and they're personified within a dark antagonist that will prevent you from getting to the top. The themes are simple, but they hit close to home for a lot of people, including me last year. And Celeste won Indie Game of the Year at the Game Awards for a very good reason. Aside from it being fun, it also helped people cope with their own issues through its story and gameplay, and that is something worth celebrating. Now, before we move over to the rather obvious champion, let's shine some light on a few titles that barely missed the list. What else than Super Mario Odyssey could top this list, as this game is a close to flawless masterpiece, with fantastic and groundbreaking gameplay for the Mario series, an amazing and varied soundtrack, an engaging plot, but most importantly, one of the most impressive endgames we have seen in any platformer to date.
Since Odyssey is 3D Mario at its very best, with varied and at times bizarre kingdoms ranging from traditional desert levels to the Nintendo version of New York City with its mayor Pauline and far beyond. However, the main game is only the beginning, as Super Mario Odyssey's true power lies in its post-game, with additional kingdoms, boss battles, and demanding moon challenges. Super Mario Odyssey is just what it should be, and though not all kingdoms are a direct hit when it comes to its content, what works so well that it is a must-own title for every Nintendo Switch owner. And partially thanks to some small but free DLC updates, the true Odyssey of video games is Nintendo Switch's greatest platformer. And there you have it, the 10 platforming games that we find to be the finest on the Nintendo Switch. Do you agree with our list? Or do you think some other games should have made it in? Leave it in the comment section down below, and as always, make sure to like the video to show appreciation for the work put into it, and if you are new, subscribe and press that shiny notification bell, and then again for all notifications to not miss any of our upcoming Nintendo Switch top 10 videos and way more this year. Finally, we want to thank our great patrons, and in particular Kenyatta Ali, our royal producer. To make regular great content and pay talented editors, we need your support on patreon.com/commonrealm, where you will find awesome perks and exclusive content for as little as $1 a month. Anyway, we will see you on the next video, or these videos, on the screen.